Welcome back to another episode of the Recruitment Mentors podcast. This week I had the fantastic Mitchell Franklin join me in the studio to discuss his recruitment journey. He joined a company called Signify and very quickly climbed the ranks, was the first person in that business to invoice for £1 million. And in the last year, he's actually gone on his own recruitment journey and built his own business. We talked about cracking the US, we talked about developing culture, and we really uncovered Mitch's mindset, which really has helped him get to the top. Enjoy the episode. Mitch, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me, mate. Like we said before, it's been a long time coming.
Long time coming, yeah. Obviously, when we first spoke, you was in the US. Yeah. What part of the US was you in?
LA.
LA.
Yeah. Back and forth, but yeah, stayed.
Yeah. So obviously spoke to you there when you worked for your previous company. And we thought obviously a year into you having your own company, probably perfect time to sit down and reminisce, talk about what you've learned, challenges. But obviously where we wanted to start was just talking about the trajectory at Signify and how you sort of climbed the ranks, became a top performer there. So if we start there, and then we'll definitely focus on the You Matter piece. But I want to always kick this off with the £1 million question, which I'm sure you've thought even more about now since you've been building your own business. But would love to hear your thoughts on what you really believe are the characteristics and traits of a highly successful, high-performing modern-day recruiter.
Well, like I said, it's a £1 million question. If anyone had the answer, they'd literally sell it for $1 million, couldn't you, to all these companies? But I think the answer isn't as simple as these are the traits. I think it's got to be, what recruiter do you want to be? Because if you want to hit your target, just work hard. Like, you don't need anything else, in my opinion. You can hit your target by pure hard work. You want to do more than your target, you've got to have a belief system, you've got to be curious, you've got to build better relationships, and most importantly, accountability. To go above and beyond your target, you've got to start taking responsibility for yourself. But it depends how far you want to go, right? Like, I've always had high expectations for myself and for our team as well. And I think take out everything else. So you can get by sheer hard work, nothing else matters.
So what have ended up being some of the characteristics or things that you've typically tried to look for in people?
The curiosity.
Yeah.
Like, because I don't think you can teach that. And it's probably a whole other podcast about the educational system. But people don't get taught how to think. It's like what to think. So like you need to find people that have that naturally, because they don't get taught that when they're younger. So it's like you can find people that have navigated their way through life, learning how to think themselves, put them in a recruitment environment, and they become a consultant rather than a talent scout or whatever else. Like they're consulted from day one, even with a talent scout title. So that naturally curiosity, continued desire to learn, and I come back to that accountability all the time, because like no one's gonna build for you. But don't get me wrong, now and again I do get the odd flick on, but like to get someone going, but you can't build a career off that. Like, you need to be accountable for how late you stay, how many hours you put in, how many hours you work on your days off.
Yeah. So curiosity, always willing to learn, and then the accountability. I love that.
100%.
So who curious, like who was Mitch before recruitment then? So did you work in property?
Yeah.
So who were, obviously you said you've always had high expectations and stuff, but who was Mitch before recruitment?
So I never wanted to get into business.
You never wanted to get into business?
I never wanted to work in an office, never wanted to do anything like that.
Why? What did you want?
I wanted to be an RAF pilot.
Oh wow.
Pilot. Yeah.
Okay. Eyes weren't good enough?
No, I dislocated my knee.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, 2 weeks before the
really?
test, yeah.
Oh.
So yeah, done.
That was like proper the dream basically?
Since I was 4 years old, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Where'd that come from?
I got given a plane when I was 4. When I was on holiday by my nan, she gave me a little plane. I was obsessed with it for years.
Really?
And for me, it was like the only job for me.
Yeah.
And then I was working on a golf course at the time, and that was plan B. I was like, if I don't be a fire pilot, I'll go travel around the world being a greenkeeper, which is to this day my favourite job. Like,
greenkeeper?
Yeah.
Wait, so that's basically just
cutting the grass.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
I love it. I've played golf since I've been like 11.
Okay.
And I mean, it's perfectionist, you know. Like we took the golf course to #1 in the county. Like since I was there.
What, about cutting grass?
Yeah, I was only 16, and I got put in charge of a few people there. And I was like, yeah, like this is a real passion. And like now I'm looking at houses for myself. Like me and my partner look at it, and she's like walk-in wardrobe and all this stuff, and I'm like, just big garden. Because I'm gonna stripe it perfect.
Really?
Yeah, like I'm obsessed with it.
Oh, that's so interesting.
But yeah,
so when did the first like visit? Yeah, like visit like.
So
office?
the knee went. I tried to.
Really?
Yeah. So I thought, what have we got to do now? And when I was in school, I was like made a lot of money. Like I actually, left school and made less than I made in school.
What was you, one of those guys that sold stuff?
Rented out 3 lockers, had a whole full CL operation. Because I hated school, hated it.
I think everyone's got, there was 1 or 2 people in their school year that was a person that had the sweets that you could buy off. Really? Wow.
I was that guy, and I had a wicked relationship with the teachers, even though I didn't like it. Like, I was good, you know, like I didn't fuck around. I was a good kid. And because of that, I leveraged those relationships, and I stepped out of class when I needed to go and sell something to the guys.
Where did that come from then?
I think I've always been like independent. Like, I've never wanted to take anything from anyone. Like, I've always wanted to do my own thing.
Okay.
And I was sitting in school, bored out of my mind. There was a combination between what I want to, and I always like motorbikes, and my dad would never let me have one.
Okay.
So I'll just buy one myself if I have to. So I started asking for a £20 loan, put a full PowerPoint presentation together about how I'm going to repay him. He took me to Costco, bought £20 worth of stuff, and from that, paid him back and a bit more, and scaled it up for 4 years.
4 years?
Yeah, so I did it from year 8 to year 10, so 3.5.
You can make some serious bank doing that, because I always think that.
I was making, after cross, like £50-60 a day, which is like,
really?
as
decent,
a 13, 14-year-old, all right.
Yeah.
So as soon as the knee happened, I was like, right, like, I can't do what I really want to do.
Yeah.
I can't follow my passion. Just make money. Let's go for it.
So that ended up in property, basically?
Getting out of property, by mistake as well.
Really?
Yeah, I wanted to get into marketing.
Okay.
And then I went for an apprenticeship scheme, didn't get the job. Didn't get like 4 jobs I went for.
Really?
Yeah. So like that whole story of like I've never been rejected, like I hear other people say, it's like not my story. Like no one would have me, and I think that's because I was coming from the golf course. Like no one was interested in taking like manual labour.
This guy's been cutting grass.
Yeah, exactly. So no one would give me my shot. But then I had a estate agency reach out because I was on like the apprenticeship like scheme, and he apparently just saw my name and really wanted to reach out. I chatted with him, and he brought me in as an apprentice.
Cheap labour, innit?
Yeah, I took less money again. I made less money when I left school to work on the golf course, and I made less money leaving the golf course to go in property. But I'm a big believer in taking a step back to go forward. I've always done that.
So how did you ended up like selling a property to a recruiter or something like that? How did the recruitment piece happen?
Nah, so it was all right to me. I enjoyed it. I was in sales first, and then this guy bought a house in cash. Okay. And he sent me his FTSE proof of funds, and he had 1.5 million there.
Right.
And I was like, I'm in the wrong job. What's
this guy doing?
Yeah, I want to be one buying these houses, not selling them. So I transitioned to lettings anyway, managed the office. And then I was just there, just sort of like, this. I'm pretty much done here. Like, spoke to the director about like opening new offices and stuff, and he was so 50-50 about it. I was like, I can't wait around forever. Then Dubai come around, opportunity out of nowhere.
Oh, you went to Dubai?
Yeah, never heard of Dubai before. Like,
what did you get sold that class, like Devere group thing?
No, it was just a real estate agent, 200k earning potential.
But it's like commission only? Yeah,
no salary.
That's a lot of people do
so
that,
I was 18 at the time.
Wow, right, you went over?
Yeah, I'd never heard of it. Within 60 days I was in Dubai by myself.
Who was there?
Yeah.
How was that then?
Yeah, slog. Yeah, real hard.
Commission only, that's tough.
Commission only, and obviously I was only 18, so I hadn't got the most amount of savings in the world by this point.
Yeah.
But I had enough, so I went over there with about 9 grand of savings.
Yeah.
Literally, I've never really spent anything, so literally went over there. My dad offered me a safety net, which was nice. Like, I knew I'd be all right if I needed a little bit, but I didn't want to take it.
Yeah.
Went over there, met a guy that we started with, Ewan, and he's probably like one of the biggest figures in my life now. Like, he's 5-6 years older than me. Hardest work I've ever worked with.
Really?
Like, if he joined Newmat today, like, I'd love it.
Really?
But he's retired now. Yeah, retired, left Dubai, he's back in the UK doing property, doing HMOs. So
how long was you there for?
Just over a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
God, that must have been some serious grounding.
Yeah, I've never seen, to this day, like the most resilient salespeople I've worked with. Like the whole setup there just provided high performance, and the people that didn't cut it just got left out to dry.
Nice,
and the business model was exceptional. I feel like it could have been done a little bit differently, like looking after the people they had, but they didn't need to. Like, they were just churning through people. I think about a person left per week at the time. I know they've taken steps forward
they'll
since.
just burn through people until the people that are left are performing. And
from what I hear, they're looking after a lot of people now a bit more. And the owner of it, like, he's a good guy, like, very good businessman. I look up to him in a bit, and what I learned there was pivotal for going into recruitment. Like,
so let's go into the recruitment piece then. So, like, is there any story like how you got into it then? Did you meet someone, or did you know you wanted to get into it?
So there was a guy that went to school with my brother. I had him on LinkedIn, and he was in recruitment. And it was like, it seems pretty straightforward, a lot of transferable skills. So I thought I'll look into it. Spoke to a rec. He was quality, just worked with him, and he just told me all about it. And I was like, all right, like sweet. When I actually met him for the first time, I thought I was interviewing for their company.
Yeah, it's so common now.
Yeah. So started talking about their companies, met four companies. And when I came back to the UK from Dubai, I also met with an estate agency to manage their office, and it was just the same shit. Like I knew it weren't right, but then I met these recruitment companies, also knew they weren't right. So I only meant to spend like 4 to 6 months in recruitment. I was going to get out of it again. I was going to start my own property business. So recruitment was a short-term fix, but I always knew recruitment was at the heart of any business. So I thought, let me go into it, let me learn how to hire people, learn like work in the city, see what it's like. And then I met with 4 or 5 companies, all the same, like literally all the same. And then I was going to accept one, and then Dan, who I was working with, he said, look, I've got one more for you. I can set you up tomorrow morning. And I was like, I've seen so many already, like it's going to be another one. He said, let me book it in. And I was like, all right, I may or may not go to it. Went to sleep that night fully thinking I'm not going to go. Woke up and I was like, I'm doing nothing. Like, I'll just go. Met Signify, and I was like, yeah, it's the place for me.
So let's just talk about that for a sec. So when you say they're all the same, what do you mean?
Suited and booted, like big corporate office, like the white walls, the blue carpet, like just the corporate buildings. Same talk, same thing, same promises, like same sort of size they were as well. Like, how was I going to make an impact to this business that's already got 300 people in?
So who did you meet, Ryan?
Yeah, Ryan, Lawes, Charlie.
What was that? So where was the business at when you met them?
About 7 people. So I think I was 7 people. Yeah, super young.
So yeah, it's a completely different proposition then.
Yeah, they just transitioned to their second office. So they'd been at one, and they moved to their second one, and super early on.
So what struck you there then? Just the people that you would immediately be able to learn from, the impact?
Dubai was good, right? Like, and I struggled in Dubai mentally. Like, I hit a real low of depression. Like, I went there and got everything I wanted, but I still wasn't happy. So I knew I had to come away and be part of something bigger than myself, because Dubai is standing on your own 2 feet. Like, there's no one else there. There's no end goal. Like, you just, how much money can you earn this month and next month and the month after?
And that didn't really give you fulfillment.
No, I was, like really struggled there. So when I came back, I thought, I've got to be part of something bigger than myself. And meeting these other recruitment companies, it's just going to be the same shit. And that's why I was like, I'll accept one, because I'm going to leave and do my own business anyway. And I knew I weren't quite ready anyway to start straight away. Like, I knew I hadn't got the leadership attributes and stuff like that. So I thought, I need to go somewhere and learn some stuff. And then when I met those guys, I was like, this is the place where I'm going to learn all this. Like, these are the guys I'm going to learn from, probably earn a bit more money, be a bit more fulfilled while I'm here. But yeah, it was never supposed to be long term. I genuinely thought 6 months max.
So when you left, what did the company look like? Obviously, we've had Ryan on the pod, so like, what I think that'd be good just to get that context. So like, you joined them.
I think about 35 people.
And you was in the US.
I was in the US, so I went over to the US in 2019. Me and Charlie went over there to open
up their US piece.
Open up the US,
Yeah. So what do you think a career in recruitment has given you then that maybe you least expected?
I thought about this question. It's a tough one, really, because I think a lot of people will think about, like, I never expected to earn the money I did, honestly. Like, it went above my expectation. That's changed my life and the people around me, their life. I never expected to travel so much. But for me, it's like, it's provided me with like my personal life now. Like, some of my best friends are people I've met through recruitment, like my network and my partner. Like, I met her on an incentive trip.
Really?
Like, I would have never met her through recruitment. So it's like, I've got my whole life now because I spent 3 years in recruitment.
It's all been influenced by a career, That's interesting. So remind me. So you was at Signify for, was it like 3 years?
3 years.
Yeah, 3 years. Nice. So obviously, looking at that, from what I can see, you obviously was the first person to invoice £1 million. You was top biller for a year. So that's obviously what people are interested in. That's why people listen to this podcast. So why don't we just first, like, let's think about obviously that an amazing achievement of being the first person in the company to invoice the £1 million. Let's unpack that a bit. I guess, what would you say are some of the things that maybe, in hindsight, some of the things that maybe you did differently from the people around you that you think maybe would have helped you got there quicker?
I just knew, I was my belief system.
Like, belief system.
Yeah. In my first 2 weeks, I was at the pub with a few of the leadership guys, and I said, in the future, like, I'm going to overtake all of you, and like in a bannery way, but like we had a good relationship, but I meant it as well. Like, I genuinely believed I'd go to the top. And then I spent 6 and a bit months billing in 2018, the first year. And I was just second top biller. Like, I was just shy of Charlie. Charlie's my mentor, and contribute pretty much everything that I know of the foundations.
Yeah.
And I was just shy of him, even though I was only billing for 6 months.
Really?
It was like we were like 10 grand between us in that first year, and I finished.
Why do you think he was able to do that though?
I literally worked every day, every hour. Yeah. Like they gave me a key to the office really early on, so I was like, literally on there on Saturdays. Like I travelled to London. I couldn't even afford to pay for the train when I started. So I literally used to jump the barrier, bring my little packed lunch, and I would sit.
Really?
I had nothing, and I was like, for me, like my goals wasn't a goal. It was a non-negotiable.
Yeah.
Like I envisioned before I left Dubai, I set up a 24-month plan.
Okay.
And at the end of it, it was like I had loads of little goals, but I had like a little catchphrase. I was like, at the end of it, I'll be ripped and rich.
Fucking hell. Ripped and rich.
50%. Like yeah, Jeez. It didn't work out as much as I wanted to. but
so where like have you got a chip on your shoulder? Like do you feel like you got something to prove?
No, not really.
Yeah.
I just never want to rely on anybody.
Yeah.
And
because I just find that because like so a lot of people, I'm sure you've sat down with people that have said the same things that you did, but how many people actually get there,
I think for me, it was a non-negotiable. Like I hear a lot of people say a lot of things, and it's like, how much does that really mean to you? Like, is that a must-have? Like, I had quite a good upbringing. Like, we didn't have anything when I was younger. We used to live in a 2-bed flat. Me and my brother, my parents. My dad was a lorry driver. My mum worked in a bar. So it's like they're never around. And I feel like this is not the life I want. Like my parents gave me everything, and I'm so happy for that. But it wasn't the life I want for my future. Like I want to be around. I want freedom. Like my dad was grafting. My dad's like a harder worker than me. Like grafts and grafts and grafts.
So you've always had that work ethic.
Yeah, but for other people, and I'm like, you're grafting for what? Like, where's the end goal? And I think like I remember being like young, thinking that. So for me, it's like I know what my life's gonna look like from very young. Like I know what it's gonna look like.
It's complete belief.
Yeah. So it's like my when I say like I was gonna be a top biller, I was gonna bill $1 million. Like in 2019, I said to the guys, I'm gonna bill $1 million this year, and they're like, no, you're not. Like it's crazy. Yeah. It's crazy.
But you just had complete belief in yourself.
I knew I was gonna do it.
How do you think people can cultivate more self-confidence and self-belief? Do you think?
Self-confidence. I wish I knew. I'm not a confident person.
Okay.
I doubt myself a lot.
Really.
And I think that is probably what drives me on. Because I don't know how I'm doing what I'm doing. I wish I could like give a blueprint to our current team. Like guys, this is exactly what to do. It's exactly what to say. But I think it's that fear of this could stop at any moment that I'm not going to let it. Like I'm not going to take my foot off the gas. It's the momentum that's got me here, and I'm going to keep on. Like I could probably, I've taken like 10 holidays in my entire career. Like from back at the golf course, all the way to this date now.
You're absolutely grafted.
Yeah, I've never stopped.
So let's go into some granular stuff, because this is what people love, right? So let's think at the height of you being a top performer. What did people love this, right? So what did Mitch's day plan look like? Like how did you go about achieving the outcomes that you set out? Like what did a typical day look like for Mitch at the top of?
Yeah. Again, I wish I had one. For me, I come into I plan the night before.
Yeah.
What do I need to get out of tomorrow that's going to make me the most amount of money?
Okay.
Like, so I'd be looking at the roles, who's fastest moving, and what are the highest paying fees? Where am I going to get my money from? And then I'd plan my day based on those, because like, would there be different roles every month, right? So I didn't have a day plan set for every day, how it looked. But for me, it was like, a to-do list was imperative. That's how I worked. So I was like, cool, this client is the fastest moving, they're the highest paying, they're the most proven. I need to get 6-7 people out into them. When I've done that and got coverage, I need to go to the next one. When I've done that, I need to go win a new role. Like when I was told to go do BD, I won my role within 48 hours and placed it. Won and placed within 48 hours. Like it was just, for me, it was like the non-negotiables again. It's like, what am I going to do today? I'm going to win a role. I wasn't going to leave until that happened.
I find that interesting because I think early on in your career you can and I'm sure you've seen this, where you don't value your time, and it seems like very early on you were very you really made sure that like where you spent your time was in the best place.
Yeah. I learned that from Ewan in Dubai. Like the guy I lived with him for a year. I said he was a few years older. He was incredible at sales before, so he used to be a car salesman. He came to Dubai, and I was still young. I was 18, 19 when I moved there. And what I learned from him was unbelievable. Like if I didn't meet him and I didn't go to Dubai and I got into recruitment, I probably would have.
So what were some of the key things then?
He's relentless.
Relentless.
Like we used to be we used to make about 200 and 300 calls a day.
Yeah.
He'd make 400, 500. Like he would be dialing before, like he wouldn't even put the phone down. Like he'd have the phone here and like
Just
still typing, like he wouldn't put it down.
Yeah.
Just relentless. And like but then he used to leave at like 5:30, 6. and I'll be like, do you not think you could even more if you stayed longer? Like, if I haven't got what I need to do in 8-9 hours, what am I going to get out of the next 1 or 2? Like, he needs to go to the gym, he needs to look after himself, and he'll come back the next day and hit it hard again.
Okay.
And
so it seems like it just inspired you then.
Yeah, 100%.
So before we go on to UMatter then, like, because I think it's important, like, what was the experience like going to the US then? Like, did you, before you went there, let's just get some granular stuff. So before you went there, was you sort of building the US business? Like, just talk to us a bit about that, because I think that a lot of people, as I'm sure you've picked up on, a lot of people are currently trying to crack on with the US, to have it on their business plan. So before you went over there with Signify, what sort of groundwork did you do before you went over there?
So we'd done 9 months of working US hours.
Yeah. And did you have like a goal to hit before you, like, what?
Yeah, we had to do $1 million.
Yeah.
$1 million quid.
So then that would maybe, I guess, instill confidence of like, we'll get there, and continue to build on that. We've got relationships.
Yeah.
Okay, so did that. So what was it actually like going over there then? Like, what maybe some of the challenges that maybe you didn't expect?
I think moving to any new place is never what you expect, because going on holiday somewhere, like I'd been to LA before, and it's like, but living somewhere is completely different. Like having to get a banker's check to move into an apartment, it's like, it's just a whole different world to live in. So it's like, not only are you going to open a new office with the expectation of, sure, this has got to work, but you're also still pretty young. Like, I'm still going over there, and Charlie's young as well. Charlie's only a year or so older than me.
Yeah.
And me and him are moving over there and not really knowing what to do, where to go for things, and trying to have the weight on our shoulders to take the business next level. Because at that point, when we were moving over there, like, he's obviously left now as well, but we were so indebted into the business. Like, we were staying till the end.
Yeah.
So we went over there with like this huge expectation on our shoulders. But it was good over there, good experience again. But yeah, I wouldn't have stayed there any longer than I did. This America's a weird place.
Is it? Yeah, fair. I guess because I think a lot of people be sold this opportunity right now. Like, anyone listening that maybe is really aspiring to be that person that goes over to the US, what advice would you maybe give them? I guess maybe personally and professionally, to maybe really consider that maybe they might not be thinking about.
Personally, just needs to think about like where they want their life to go.
Yeah.
Like, I was with my partner and she waited for me in the UK.
Yeah.
So it's like, that was a constant strain. So you need to think about, realistically, are you ready to give up your life in the UK? And then professionally, like, you can't change what you've done, what made you successful before. I've heard a lot of stuff about going to the US, doing things differently, talking to different people, saying different. It's bullshit, man. Like, for me, like, I'll talk to a client in the UK, in Amsterdam, in Belgium, the exact same as I talk to them in the US, because my service is my service, and I'm going to provide results, and I know how I do that. So like, I'm not going to beat around the bush just because the US is a different market. Like, I'll be the exact same. Like, I might talk to someone different because they got a huge talent teams out there. So where in the UK I might talk to director of engineering. In the US, I'll talk to director of recruiting, but I'll say the same thing, and I'll never try and shy away from who we are or what we do. But I think that you just got to lean into your strengths. It's like, don't go to the US and do something different because you think that's what they want. It's like, what's made you successful here, what makes you successful there?
So own what you are.
Yeah, 100%.
Hey everyone, a real quick one from me. This podcast would not be possible without our amazing podcast partners, Vincere and Sourcebreaker. Because you listen to this podcast, you're able to get your hands on exclusive savings on both of these award-winning products. If you're a growing recruitment business, you have to check out Vincere, who are an all-in-one operating system for your growing recruitment business. With Sourcebreaker, if you want to make sure that all of your recruiters have the best tools on the market to stand out and beat their competition, then you have to check out Sourcebreaker. Use the link in the show notes, in the comments below, and you'll be able to get yourself exclusive savings on these amazing products. So let's talk about UMatter then. So obviously hit the first year milestone recently.
Yeah.
Congrats on that.
Thank you, mate.
So I guess let's start then with, like, what do you think has been some of the, like, mentally, some of the shifts that maybe you feel like you've had to make from being a top performer, or just obviously worrying about the money that you'll bill and being an employee, compared to now being a business owner, you're growing a team. What have been some of the mindset shifts, do you think? Because I think a lot of people think about setting up on their own and have a number of concerns. So what have you, I don't know, had to maybe change, or mindset shifts maybe?
People management. Yeah, like, I'm not the best people manager in the world. It's something I'm always trying to work on. I'm a biller, and I've got a business mind, but like, I'm not a people manager. So like, for me to look after people, to have their problems on my shoulders and look after that and really take that into consideration. Whereas before, it's like, as a team lead, I'm just like, cool, we need to build more.
Right.
And this is how you're going to build more. And if you don't like it, like, sorry, like, that's the formula. Whereas now it's like, you've got to build more. Oh shit, but something's gone on in your life. Okay, like, how can we help? So it's like it's balancing the act now of I have to talk to you as a CEO rather than a team lead, because as a team lead, if you don't like it, go talk to the CEO. Whereas now I'm like, I am your team lead, CEO, colleague, like I'm everything in one. It's really hard to balance that.
So how have you worked on that?
Just talking to a lot of other directors, listening to a lot of other people that are much better than what I'm at. So yeah, people I look up to.
Have you tried to get people in your business that can maybe be better at that?
Yeah, Jay's wicked. Jay's been with me since day one. Such a people person. Like he'll sit there and listen. People very much more approachable than I might be. We recently brought in Stefan as well as a senior consultant. He again attributes that I don't have. Like just an all-round wicked person. I think
and you do that intentionally. Yeah.
Like for me, I know where our business is going. So everything we do now, from the branding to the people we're bringing in, it's not for next year's plans. It's for 7-8 years time. I know exactly where I want our business to be.
How important is that to have clarity on that? Because I think it can be, obviously you're a startup, right? You're in that journey. Sometimes it's hard to look beyond like the challenges directly in front of you, right? But how important have you found it to have a vision?
Yeah, 100% need it, because if you don't, then there's been critical decisions I've had to make, which I probably wouldn't have made without knowing where I want to go.
Okay.
And when I spoke with Farouk before, I think it was about 2-3 weeks after launching, the first question he asked me is, where do you want your business to go? And I told him straight away, and I was like, good answer, because not many people I don't think know that. And I think before anyone starts their own business, they've got to understand that they want a lifestyle business, which is absolutely fine. Like if you're going to build for somebody else, you might as well do it for yourself if you're that good. If you want a little 5-10 man company, fair play to you. But if you want to build something big, there's decisions you've got to make early on to give yourself the runway to do that. There's no point in me building a lifestyle business now or building it in a certain way for 3 years down the line having to switch it. Like everything we do now is for where our end goal is at.
And then how has that helped? Like, has that also sort of helped when hiring and the people part? Because have you sort of would you say that it's helped you get people buy into that, and also when you're hiring people, or like even when people are working, it's something that they can anchor to as well? Like, has it helped on that side?
Yeah, 100%. So we have a very clear plan where we're going, and everyone buys into that. And we've got a growth plan in the business and out of our business, which sounds a bit crazy
I like
to hear,
that.
but yeah,
in and outside.
I don't expect everyone to be a director of UMatter. It's absolutely fine. A lot of people fall into recruitment. Like a lot of our team have never done recruitment before, so it's you don't have to do this forever. I hope you do. It'd be wicked to have you here at the end. But realistically, if you want to own whatever you want to own, your own brand, even if it's your own recruitment company, your own product, you've got this idea, a clothing brand, whatever it is, we'll help you do it. And I know it's won't help turnover numbers when we're looking in the future, but if I can look back at the last 40 people that left over the last 4 years, and all of these people went and done their own thing, I don't really care what somebody else thinks about our turnover numbers. For me, it's about giving people a platform for what they really want to do. Because that's all I ever wanted, really. Every business I've been in, from the estate agency to the real estate to recruitment, all I wanted was to be treated with respect and given...
Leave a better person.
Yeah, I wanted to be given a platform for what I want to do. And that's what I'm trying to create here. And if people stay because they feel fulfilled enough, amazing. And if people want to go and do their own thing, then I'll equally feel as inspired and very proud if they go off and do their own thing.
No, yeah, I love that. So why don't we just very quickly think about then, a lot of people want to start their own recruitment company, and I think it's the typical sentence that I'll hear is we wanted to do things differently, right? So as you said at the early part of this conversation, you met 3-4 companies, they're all the same. So what was Mitch's intention when we were thinking about how is UMatter going to be different? How did you think about that? And
yeah. Well, I hear that phrase a lot, people want to be different, and I don't know what people do differently a lot, to be honest. There's a few businesses out there that I think are really cool, and I didn't actually come across them until I found it. So SR2, I didn't know about them when I was planning, and I thought what I wanted to do by putting people at the centre and be responsible, I didn't know that existed. I never come across them. I've done a lot of research as well. A lot of planning went in. I was planning for a year before I launched, and then I just wanted it to be genuinely we're not reinventing the wheel, right? We're not, the recruitment's recruitment. We're providing a better service, but what we're doing differently is genuinely looking after our people.
Okay.
And that's what I think we're doing differently, and that will translate into that better service. And it was only when I launched I come across SR2 and Chris, and I was like, oh shit, it actually works. Because when I first started, I was like, God knows if it's going to work. Does putting people first actually work? I'm not sure. And then I come across SR2 about 2 months in, and that was we were getting a good start. So I felt good, and then I come across these guys, and I was like, oh shit, like
So
there are links to this.
When you say putting people first, what do you actually mean? Like, talk to us about some, like, how does that actually show up in your business? Like, what's some
Well, I
of the things
suppose
you
it's
do?
to be clear on that as well. It's putting people first that are right for our business. Like, there are 40,000 recruitment companies in the UK, and every time I interview someone, I share that with them, that whatever they want in a business, they can find. This is how our business looks, and this is what our expectations are, and this is what you get out of it. Like, our OTE is 100K.
Okay.
So it's like, hit your target, you're taking home 6 figures.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know any other recruitment company that does that. So it's like, for me, if you want that, come in and we'll give you everything to hit it. And like, we won't talk to you like a twat, and we will give you respect, but we also expect a lot back from you as well. And if that's the business for you, you have everything that we have to offer. Training, our time, like call me 24/7. I'm there for you professionally, personally, but you've got to give back to us as well. You've got to work hard and give that similar dedication. And that's for me, like, there are other businesses that will offer different things that will be right for other people, which is absolutely fine. Like, there's so many businesses out there that I respect and look up to that I wouldn't take their employees because they're not the right people for me, and vice versa. So the people we've got are very unique to what we're building, and I'll give them everything for them to be successful.
So what's been the strategy then? So I know we're just catching up, and you're saying going on this journey now of really focusing on the US and these things. But what's been, I guess, what have been like the key things that you've been really aiming to do and achieve this year? That I guess things that you've done that have really helped you to achieve what you wanted to, basically. So straight away, did you know that you was going to focus on the US, or the particular? I don't know how.
Yeah,
what
US
was the sort of strategy?
Day one. Well, even before we launched, I had a client that never worked with before, but I knew him for a long time. 4 days before I launched, he reached out to me and saying, "I've seen your LinkedIn. You're not there anymore. Presume you're doing your own thing. Wanted to work with you for a long time. I'm willing to pay you 100% up front for 6 roles."
Wow.
So I was like, literally before I even launched on that day, like. It took a week and a half or so it did get agreed after the launch day. Yeah. But yeah, even before it happened, like, we were in the US like day one.
Was that the main sort of part of the plan, or
that was the objective the whole time? Yeah, let's do that.
Why?
I'd been working in the US for 2.5 years before. Right. Before I started in European contracts and then went to Perm US. And it's a different level out there. The opportunity for like the quantity of roles, like how it's not being tapped up, like you can go in there and really seize it, but also just the sheer deal values, the partnerships you can create out there, the way they work, like really become an extension of their brand. Whereas in Europe, like I know people are doing better stuff now and recruiters are getting more respect, but it's a necessary evil, I think. Like people
still feels like that.
Yeah, like they're like, oh, we need you, we don't want you, but we're going to use you. Whereas the US, it's like if they decide to partner with you, you can seriously be like their partners. Like I'm in Slack channels. Like yesterday, I went to one of the board meetings for one of our companies. Oh, wow. So like, I'm fully integrated in these teams, and we're not doing anything different. It's just retained recruitment, and we're going to roll out some different models this year. So year one was all about how much money can we make. Like we need to fill up this bank account because our next few years are going to be reinvesting. So year two now is all about structure. We've got a pretty ambitious target. It was actually like our 5-year target initially when I'd done our business plan. We're now aiming for this year, which we're already made.
Doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, we've already made a big dent in as well. But I don't care if we hit that or not. Like this month, I've just sort of had so much clarity of like, I don't care if we hit that. It's all about structure this year, getting the right people in the right place, so I can work on the business and not in the business, because that's what I'm doing now. Like year one in the trenches, billing, working 8:30 to 11 at night. Like I literally gave it all last year. And I could do that again. Like I can build $1 million a year. It's like it's fine. Like I can keep turning up and doing it. But where do you go from there? So I'm trying to put that structure in place and promote.
You don't want the business to be reliant on you, though, do you?
Exactly. So I need to work on it. Like I'm not really a salesman. Like I'm not even the best recruiter in the world. Like I believe I've got a very good business mind, and I know I can take this business to a whole nother level.
So talk to me about, because people will be interested. Talk to me about some of the key principles that you feel can help people succeed in America, because as I said, a lot of people are looking at it because of a number of the reasons that you've said, but from your experience so far, could be 1, 2, 3, I don't know, what are some of the key principles you think in getting the American piece right? So
it's similar to what we talked about in the first question, like the same attributes, but I think the thing you need to do to get it right is dedicate yourself. If you're going to try and do UK time zones and literally switch off at 5:30, you're working for 3 hours a day. Like that's the only crossover you're getting. So it's like if you're going to go for it, you need to go for it. Like I'll be honest with you, like the start of this year. So last year I was working those hours, 8:30 to 11 o'clock at night all year. this year I've sort of taken my foot off the gas and focused on Europe and worked normalish time zone.
Yeah.
And our US side has dropped massively.
Okay.
So we've recently made the shift that our whole team, half our company is US, half is EU, and the US half is now going to be dedicated to US time zone. And that's part of getting that structure right now. And we will be open in the US, but it's going to be Dubai first next year, and then we're going to be going to Miami after.
Okay.
So it's like
why Miami?
Easier time zone. So LA was really tough to communicate with the UK team. We literally had an hour crossover. Okay. So I don't want a team to be in LA and me not to have hardly any communication with them.
Sure.
So Miami's 5-hour time zone, much more manageable, and it's still a nice place. Like you still get the benefits of the sunshine, the lifestyle. Because really these offices opening are purely talent attraction. It's not business related at all. Like I'm not going there to liaise with clients. Like we're going there so we can put amazing recruiters there, and they will continue working with clients across the globe.
Okay. So what are some of the things then, just thinking of people that like are on this journey or thinking about and I guess want some insight into, like, I know you're saying like literally just treat it the same, but some people may be skeptical about that because it's different culture, different people. Yeah. But I guess what do you think, besides the hard work, the dedication, what are some of the things that you think that you guys have done well to really start building great traction in the US?
Relationship building.
Okay.
But again, I do that in the UK, which I think has always set us apart in Europe. Like we've got wicked relationships with our clients in Europe, but I think you need it in the US. Whereas like in the UK, like it's that necessary evil that even if you haven't got the best relationship, they'll probably still work with you. Whereas in the US, like it's a must-have. And that's not to mean like you're chatting about their day and getting to know about them and their family. Like you don't have to do all that, but you just have to be a lot more long-term thinker with them. Find out about the business problems and how you can add value and what weight can you take off them? Like what solution can you provide them?
Yeah.
But it sounds crazy saying that's like a US fix. You should be doing that in Europe. And if you're not, you're missing a trick. Like, because people have this illusion as well that the US is this massive market where you're going to become a big biller and you can't do that in Europe. Like I build just as much in Europe as I do in the US. Like there's no difference between the two.
It's just the opportunities.
It's just the opportunities in the US for go and build those relationships. But on the other spectrum, if you do that in the US and bring that back to the EU, you'll do equally as well in the EU as well. So
it is true then, because the common things that we've heard is the fees are typically larger.
Yeah, which are.
The obviously perception of a recruitment consultant or a headhunter, whatever, is a lot better.
Yeah.
And obviously these things can just massively help if you're really good at your craft, you can deliver, and these things.
Yeah. I think you've got to be a good guy. I think the two attributes to make a good recruiter is money hungry and a good person. If you're money hungry without being a good person, you won't get very far because you'll get caught out early on. You won't build the relationships. And if you're just a good person without any money like you won't push enough to make the money. So you need the combination of both.
Yeah, fair enough. What, just quickly, because it's a big place, right? Have you tried to focus on like a particular state, or have you been quite open? Like how is that sort of?
So pre-COVID we did, like that's when we moved to LA, like we did try and focus on New York and San Fran.
Okay.
Because we could monopolise the markets really easy. Like you get the 5-6 best companies in that state.
And then you're laughing.
You find the person and you don't even have to ask for exclusivity. Like you get them out to all the best places, you're placing them.
Okay.
Whereas now, like the whole thing with distributed teams going remote, it's given more opportunity, but it's made things harder.
In terms of like, so you could be working with a company in New York, but now they could be hiring in other people in other states, whereas before, okay.
So it's a good thing that opens talent pool, but it's a hard thing because it opens the talent pool too much.
Because it could be quite hard to where to focus your time and where to focus the area.
Yeah, so there's no real focus. The focus is the US. So we have a US team with a split heavily on the US, but then also 2 people dedicated to Canada, and then 1 person dedicated to South America, but heavy is the US. You just got to get as much coverage as possible. But it's a big place, and that's why it'll be our biggest team.
So a couple of things before we finish then. So what people always interested, what sort of piece of technology and things like that have you invested in that have helped on the journey with the American piece?
Yeah, hardly any. I don't know, that's probably the opposite answer of people here. But
fair.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
but that's also good to hear, right?
I just don't believe in automating stuff. It's a people business. Like the whole idea of UMatter is putting people back at the centre. And having things automated or outsourcing things, I don't think does any good. Obviously, I use Vincere. I hate CRMs. I always have. And that's the best CRM I've ever used, and we utilise it. But yeah, for me, like I don't invest in tech. Like,
really?
We just do everything ourselves and just make sure people are on top of it.
Okay.
I know that's an awful one for people to hear.
No, that's fair. Obviously, because I think obviously the mindset can be like you need to have all these things to do well, right?
I think you get caught up in it. I think you get caught up in the tech.
So what surprised you then, so far?
Two ends of the spectrum. How quick it would take off.
Okay.
Like we done 250% of our target in our first year. I want it to be 4 to 6 people. We're now 15, and we're not slowing down. Like we're going to be, you've seen the office, 34 people office. Like that's going to be filled. It's like it's just bigger, so much quicker, which has been taking a toll on me as well because I've had to readjust. Like how?
Because how have you managed all this, like personally and stuff? Because we've spoken about this.
Yeah.
Because when you spending time with your partner, if you're working till 11.
Yeah, like it's just in between, you know, like, and she gets it. Just have to
grind
out.
You've agreed, you've communicated. This is the journey that I'm on.
Like we know where we're going. Like in my personal life, we know where we're going. We know where the business is going. So yes, it's been amazing how quick it's taken off.
Okay.
But the other spectrum is how hard it is to find the people that would be willing to do what I done. You know, like I thought when we started this, we thought, sweet, we'll just find loads of me. And like loads of, and I know they exist. And like when I speak to people like this, like you can't expect people to do what you done for your own business. And I'm like, no, but I done this for other people. Like I done this when I was in a estate agency, when I was in real estate, when I worked for like I gave my all to everything. And it's hard to find the people that are willing to give their all, but I know they exist because Charlie did it.
Yeah.
Jay does it for me now.
Yeah, I get you, man.
Ewan done it in Dubai. Like they exist.
I guess there's got to be a bit of a balance, isn't there?
Yeah, for me, it's realigning my expectations.
Because to get to 30 people, are you going to have? Is it going to be made up of all those people? No, but you've obviously got to be committed to what the minimum standard is.
And it's finding that bar, and we let go of our first 2 people.
Really?
Yeah, we grew to 2 people, and then went back to 0. A hard decision, but circling back to what I said about where I know where we're going. Like I'm not planning 2 years ahead. I'm planning 10 years ahead.
Yeah.
And they weren't right. They just weren't right, and it was a crazy. But if it was a lifestyle business, I probably would have kept them. Because if I only had a 2-year plan, I probably would have kept them. But I knew in the grand scheme of things, these guys weren't right. And 6 months into the business, I let go of our first 2 people we employed, and we were back at 0 again.
That's fair enough.
But because I have an expectation on people, and could I have done more for them? 100%. Looking back on it, could I have given more? Could I have been a better leader? But I'm on my own journey as well, and I do look back on it and think, could I have done things differently?
Yeah.
But like I'll always protect our culture. I'll always protect the brand we're building and the standards we put in place. And if people don't meet them, there's no place for them. There's 39,999 other recruitment companies they can go to.
So just on this topic before we finish, because I think it's really relevant right now with the amount of companies that are doing well or hiring. Like, how have you, like you said, most of the people you've hired, correct me if I'm wrong, have come without experience. So how have you approached getting these people up to speed? A lot of people are thinking about that. Obviously, if these 2 people didn't quite work out, what's been the mindset towards getting them up to speed, getting them competent?
So we go through training. So like I spend a day with me in like classroom based, you could say.
Yeah.
Breaking down the basics, like the stuff that probably people think is so simple. Like one of the first slides on our training presentation, like what is recruitment? Like why would you even need it? I think that comes back to like my understanding of how important a belief system is. Because if you think recruiters like should only earn this amount a year or are only valuable to this extent, you're only going to go so far.
Yeah.
So from day one, I want to drill into these guys. You are going to be the most valuable asset to some of these tech companies.
The belief system.
So we do a classroom based, go over the basics, then they shadow with my current team.
Okay.
Obviously, when it was just a start, they shadowed with me directly, whereas now they shadow with my current team, and I'm trying to remain very hands-on. And that's where it comes into, I've got to stop working in the business, and I've got to work on it. So it's like, I try and give as much of my time to these guys as possible. So listening to their calls, playing them, like telling them the feedback from it, just as much as I possibly can do, really. It's just training never stops. That's the thing. Like this, when they pass their probation or get up and running or go past doesn't stop. Like Becca, for example, is currently leading from the front. She's top biller right now.
Okay.
I'm still giving her the most amount of training because of it, because I know she got so much more.
Continuously,
you could just leave her. Like you could just leave her now and think, sweet, she's good. Like she's good to go.
I love it.
But
So where are you going to be then? You've spoken a lot about where you want to go. Where we, like if we were to sit down another year, 2 years time, where are you going to be then?
2 years time, we'll be in Dubai.
Dubai.
We're in.
Going to go back there?
I'm not going back.
Oh, okay.
I'm not going back. Jay's going back.
Okay.
Then we'll be in Miami in 2 years time.
Yeah.
Opening that office. We'll have a lot of structure. We're going to build a lot of our own technology in between this time as well.
Build our own technology.
We're building our own technology, and when it's all said and done, we'll be valued at $1 billion.
A billion?
Yeah, billion with a B, yeah.
Yeah.
And it sounds crazy, and I think it's a little bit crazy. But when I chatted with Farouk, my first 2 weeks, I broke down why I wanted to get to 420 million.
Okay.
And he was so on board. He was like, "Yeah, sweet, let's do it. Sounds super easy."
You got to believe in something.
So as soon as he said like 420 is easy, like cool, we just could this EBITDA, we'll break it down. This is the multiplier you get. I was like, oh, maybe I'm shooting too low. So yeah, billion. Like we will get to a billion.
Love it.
By the end of the decade.
Mitch, love it. Keep doing what you're doing, mate.
Thank you, mate.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for listening to the episode. I hope you got value from the conversation and there was a number of key takeaways. So please don't forget to like, share, and please do share your key takeaways in the comments below if you did have some. And thanks for supporting the show.